Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Luke and here on this channel I talk about perfumes, focusing on designer, vintage and affordable fragrances, as well as some niche here and there. So if that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing. In today's video, I'll be reviewing the infamous Youth Dew from Estée Lauder. And this is a fragrance from the 50s. And it's one of those fragrances that really changed the course of perfume history. In this video, I'll tell you a bit about the history of this fragrance. We'll go over the notes, the accords, the performance, and I'll tell you everything that you need to know about this fragrance. Of course, you can look it up online. You can read articles about it because it's a very famous fragrance. It's been around since 1953. It's a timeless classic. It's one of those fragrances that you have to try if you're into vintage perfumes. You don't have to like it. Not everyone likes this fragrance. I happen to really like it, but not everyone. You know, it's a very polarizing scent. So let's talk about the history. Until the 50s, perfume was more of a luxury item. It was reserved for special occasions. And let's be honest, women didn't really purchase it for themselves. However, in 1953, Estée Lauder, who founded the company, decided to change that mentality and released this groundbreaking fragrance, which was released as a bath oil. And she wanted it to be an affordable but still luxury item. And she encouraged women to purchase the bath oil and wear it as a perfume as well. And the bath oil really provided the perfect balance between luxury and practicality. And because it was technically not a perfume, not a luxury perfume, it allowed women to indulge without feeling guilty and without having to justify spending a fortune on an expensive perfume to their husbands. They could just use it and enjoy it and didn't feel guilty about it because it was very affordable. So that was the idea behind this fragrance. So Estée Lauder was, in a way, a feminist. She was ready to change the way perfume was perceived by women and by society as well, because she made it into an affordable, everyday commodity. Not just a luxury product that should only be used on special occasions. And I really think what she did was quite groundbreaking because perfume has become something that we use every single day. Okay, let's talk about the notes and the main accords of this fragrance. Youth Dew is classified as an oriental spicy or an amber spicy scent, and it has lots of resins, balsamic notes, spices, amber, and so many other notes. It's very complex, very warm, very rich. And in my opinion, it's still very relevant to this day. Even though it was released in 1953, to my nose, it doesn't smell old-fashioned or too vintage smelling. You know, some green chypre fragrances are more vintage smelling than this one. This one has a lot of sweetness. I mean, it's not overly sweet, but it has sweetness. So if you're someone who likes amber and maybe you don't enjoy vintage style fragrances, you may still like this one because it's sweet and it's comforting and powdery. And as a side note, I really like wearing it to bed. Just one spray or maybe two sprays. And it's the perfect, comforting, powdery, ambery scent. As I said, it was released in 1953. The perfumer behind it was Joséphine Catapanon, who also created Cinnabar some 20 years later. When you look at the note breakdown of Youth Dew, you'll find, I would say, over 20 notes, but the ones that stand out the most are the base notes to me, and in the top notes and the middle notes, the spices, just a hint of aldehydes in the opening, and then you get a ton of cloves, a ton of cinnamon, maybe even some florals, some very nondescript florals. But this is definitely not a floral fragrance. It's a spicy amber fragrance. And it has lots of notes that make up the amber accord, namely the Tolu balsam, the Peru balsam. It has an amber note as well, some vanilla, some patchouli. So the beautiful, rich and warm amber accord is what makes this fragrance stand out. You also get some incense, but I don't really smell a lot of incense in this fragrance. And you also get some oak moss, which I can smell. And I'm happy to report that oak moss is still listed in the ingredients on the back of the box. So even the newest formulation still contains some oak moss. I have to say that yes, it has been reformulated. To my nose, it still smells great. And I have a friend who wore this back in the 60s, and she says it still smells like Youth Dew, it still smells the same. But I would say it's not as animalic as it used to be, but it still smells like Youth Dew, it's still phenomenal, it's still very strong, it still lasts about 12 hours on me. But the reformulation did in fact happen, and I really want to share this with you. Someone on Fragrantica wrote that the new version of Youth Dew is still really nice, but she wrote, Mama's had a facelift. And I found that so funny because it's true, because this fragrance has been modernized. It's slightly sweeter, slightly less animalic, but it's still beautiful. And when you get a facelift, you do end up looking better, don't you? And I think this was the case with Youth Dew, because in my opinion, Estée Lauder does reformulations well. Their reformulated fragrances still smell amazing to my nose. So there you go. If you want to let me know what you think about the newest formulation of Youth Dew, let me know down in the comments. I love reading your comments and I always reply. And I really have to stop digressing, and I have to tell you a bit more about the scent profile. This scent to me is the smoothest, richest, velvety, classic oriental fragrance. It's ambery, spicy, balsamic, but also very comforting and powdery. On my skin, it turns into a powder bomb. It's smooth, it's comforting, and it smells a bit like cosmetics. So maybe that's why I enjoy wearing it to bed so much. And I don't have the bath oil. I really want the bath oil because I'm sure it smells amazing. But this one, the Eau de Parfum, is also stunning. And I did actually spray some in my bath water the other day when I was taking a bath. And my entire bathroom smelled amazing. There's two more things that I want to say about this fragrance. And the first one is that I actually agree with the common, myth that it smells a bit like Coca-Cola. It does. It has that sweet ambery booziness, and some people say it smells like cherry-flavoured Coke. Well, I wouldn't say so, but it does smell a bit like Coca-Cola, I have to say, and I really love that. I don't drink Coca-Cola. I have a Coke Zero maybe once a year when I, eat out. But Youth Dew does remind me of that sweet booziness of Coca-Cola. The other thing that I want to say, I actually want to dispel a myth. So many people say that this is old-fashioned, that it's bitter, that it smells nasty. I don't get that at all. I understand why someone would say that about Angel, which I do also like, but I understand patchouli can smell quite dirty. But this fragrance is ambery, it's powdery, it's soft, and I don't really see why people think it's too vintage smelling or too old-fashioned, because it's not. It's quite a sweet scent, actually. It's quite sweet. And when you leave it on your skin for a while, it does warm up nicely, and it has that honeyed ambery sweetness, and it's resinous. And I'm sure if you were to put this in an expensive niche bottle and had one of those popular niche companies that everyone has discount codes for sell it for you, it would be selling like hotcakes, and people on YouTube would be showing it to you in their, top 10 fall winter fragrances for 2024, top 10 winter fragrances. And no one would be calling it grandma fragrance, old-fashioned, old-smelling, and things like that. So, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about Youth Dew down in the comments. Is it something that you own and like? Is it something that you don't care for? Let me know down in the comments. Give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy content like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in one of my next videos. Have a nice day. Bye.